Oh, okay. We are live now.
All right.
Oh, okay. So welcome again. Check.
Yeah. Hi.
Uh, yeah. So to
Here.
everybody, sorry, Check was having some issues with his Hangouts. So we are happy he's finally here. We
Yeah.
are 20 minutes late, so we can just start.
All right.
Okay, Check. Once again, welcome. So before we start, I want to do some introductions. Maybe your name, where you are coming from, your hobbies, anything, something about you.
All right. I'm Nyah Check. I am a fourth year computer engineering student at the University of Buea in Cameroon. So I've been programming for like since 2008, where I wrote the first line of code. And outside programming, I play basketball. I play table tennis, and I play
Oh,
team football. Those are practically my hobbies, but my greatest hobby is coding because I don't have the time to program at the same time, be very active in sports. I just do it for medical reasons. That's all. All right, and I'm very happy to be here to share my experiences with guys all over the continent.
that's good. That's good. So, like anything you're working on currently, what are you involved in? Any interesting
Uh,
project?
all right, all right. In Boya, our tech community, it's a tech community that just started around 2004. We've had guys in Boya who have been building startups like Joko, Fee Perfect, and many other startups that I cannot remember also. They said we should come together and like start a tech conference, which we could share experiences with guys all across the country and guys possibly around the continent. So we are currently working on the Silicon Mountain Conference. I think so. Just a few hours ago, we're coding the site. So I was at a hackathon. I'm still there. So we hope that through the Silicon Mountain Conference, we're able to share the things we do in Boya with guys all across the continent. That's what I'm working on now. But apart from that, I'm a regular open source contributor. So I'm contributing to the GNU project. I'm also a regular contributor to the OpenMRS open source project. And I'm also a contributor to the BRCAP open source project. It's a CAP project which I worked on in 2013, the Google Summer of Code and OpenMRS. I worked with them last year during the Google Summer of Code. That's what I'm working on now.
Oh, that sounds great. Sounds great. But why the name Silicon Mountain? Is that right? Silicon Mountain.
Okay, the thing is, Boya is located at the foot of Mount Cameroon. So we have a mountain in Boya. So that's where, given the tech name of Silicon. So guys just dubbed the name Silicon Mountain. See if we have a mountain in Boya. So we just called it Silicon Mountain.
Oh, okay, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So check. How did you get into programming?
How did I
You
get
started
into
2008. Yeah.
Yeah, how did I get into programming? The first thing I can remember is I was very interested in computers from a very young age, from like 11, 10. Then around lower six, that's high school, we had one of our computer teachers who was an aerospace engineer from the United States, and he was a good programmer. So he started telling us of computer programming. We asked him to teach us in high school, he refused. So when I got to the university in 2008 to study biochemistry, that's when I started learning how to program. I think that's how I got into it.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
You mean that he refused to teach you guys? Any reason? Any special reason?
He
Or he
said
doesn't have
we're
the time?
naughty. He was just saying we're very stubborn and we're not intelligent enough for him to teach us. So the guy was a very proud guy. So we had to learn it on our own when we came to the university.
Oh, okay. So how has it been so far? Being a programmer, has it been so interesting? Any up and down? How has it been like?
Yeah, it's been a really it's been a tough journey getting into programming. I think the first problem I got was from the family. My parents and my family members never really understood what I was doing on a computer every day. And I had to spend a lot of time explaining to them that what I was doing is not scamming. I don't know if there are guys in Ghana who are into that, but yeah, when they see
We
you into
understand.
computers a lot, they think you are trying to get money from white in Europe. And secondly, another thing was this TB Joshua phenomenon. Are you guys familiar with it?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
familiar with TB Joshua, but when you talk about TB Joshua phenomenon, what?
I mean, like when people watch this TB Joshua and they see like guys who are getting spirits from the internet and things like that. I think that was one of the greatest fears I had. My family had that probably I've contracted something spiritual from the internet that will really be keeping me attracted to computers. But after a certain period, they got to see that what I was doing was serious and they gave me the support. And I'm actually very happy to have been a programmer because programming has taken me to Silicon Valley for free. I never spent a dime. Programming has made me meet guys in Ghana like Mauli, and programming has taken me to Kenya and to a lot of countries on this planet. So I really am very happy to have been a programmer, and I will still be very happy to continue being a programmer. So I
No,
think it's a very great field to get into.
no, wow, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
I think you've done a lot with programming. You had your
Yep.
ups and downs.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
so yeah, so mostly what I know what people do mostly being a programmer is they start to do some entrepreneurial stuff. Have you been involved in any of those
Sorry, I did not get you.
like entrepreneurship? So have you been
All right.
did you
Yeah.
start did you try maybe starting a company or anything?
No, I've never really thought of starting a tech company. It's a problem, which I think is a problem actually because everybody thinks getting into programming means you must start a startup. Like everybody's drive, this capitalism drive where everybody's out to make money. With programming, I'll prefer to be a researcher, probably a computer science researcher or something, where I work in academia. If we had probably a more serious government, I would have worked for the government as a programmer, not like start a startup. I've never really thought of starting a tech company myself, but I have contributed to tech startups around. I think I would prefer to do that than starting a company on my own.
Okay, so you prefer to work for them or work in university?
Yes, I prefer to be in a university, then probably contract in a company, like come once in a while, work on a particular problem and leave. I don't like that environment, the business-oriented environment. I prefer the academic side of it, the research and things like that.
Oh, that's interesting. So you plan doing that in Cameroon, or if the opportunity presents itself anywhere, you go.
Yeah, anywhere in the world I'll go. Because Cameroon, there are a lot of problems, especially with the political system and advancing in the computer science field. But with opportunity presents itself, anywhere I'll go. But I'll prefer to work in Africa because I
Oh,
think
okay.
it will be best for us to import our energy here.
Have you made any attempts
Not yet.
maybe look for such opportunities?
Not yet. I was hoping probably by the end of this year, since this is my last year in school. I was hoping that
Yeah.
probably by the end of this year now, I may think of something to do. Probably contribute, work at a tech company or something, or going for further research or master studies. I haven't concluded yet, but I'm still looking. If there's any, you ping me.
Yeah. I'll surely do that.
Yeah,
That's great. I mean, it's great to hear that. I mean, mostly what people try to do, I mean, programming, they want to be independent. Me, I understand that from this part of the world, like especially in Africa, even the tech companies, one thing I've realized is that if you are a good programmer,
Mm-hmm.
mostly, and if you can get some freelance jobs, it pays well than working for maybe a company.
Yeah, yeah.
And that drives people to start their own firms or consulting firms or companies.
No,
It's
that's
all
true.
about the system. Yeah, and academic too. I don't know how it is in your part, how the computer how's computer science like in in Cameroon. How is computer science like? How is computer engineering like?
All right. I think computer science here is still very new and young. We still have a very small computer science department at the University of Boya. So you actually see that there is this lapse in skilled academicians that can really train the next generation programmers. That's why you see I have the focus on getting into academia because I think at that point I'll be able to impact the next generation tech entrepreneurs, perhaps, because even if I want to start something like Google in Boy, even if I have a new algorithm, I don't really think we don't really have the guys with the skill sets required to work on such a project. And I think that boils down to the academic aspect, the academia of Cameroon. And if that problem is solved at that level, then it will power a lot of things in the future. So that's why I think it will be better for us to focus on the academics aspect of computer science so that when we lay the necessary groundwork, the entrepreneurs will just come out automatically. I think that will be the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's good. I think from what I've heard and seen so far, uh, you guys are doing a great job. Especially like the Google Summer of Code. You are trying to
Yeah,
drive the
yeah,
community. I think so
true.
far in Africa, you guys are leading.
Yeah, true,
If
true.
I'm right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we
So
are.
yeah, that's the right step, and it's good to build a community. That's
No,
what we
true.
need. Yeah. So keep it up.
Yeah, we'll do, we'll do.
Yeah. So you can pick anybody, ping us, like if any way we can help, maybe
All
we can
right.
just push this up and we might want to pick it up.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we pinged Maoli earlier this year on getting guys in Ghana participate in the Google Summer of Code, and there were some interested students, and we helped them in one way or another. We hope they get selected this year in GSOC.
Yeah, I remember that last year I and Mali we did a meetup for some of the students for
Hmm.
the Google Summer of Code. And then this year we saw two who were interested and serious about it and want to see how far they'll go.
All right, all right. That would be great. It would be great for Ghana to have some Google Summer of Code participants. That way, it will help a lot of students in the university.
Oh, okay. So let's get back to your programming language. So how is it like? What's led you to your favorite programming language, or how is it like? How is your programming language issue like? What did you start with? Did you start with Pascal, Basic, or you start with machine code? Or
No, I started coding in C. I
oh,
started in C. I started coding in C because that was basically what is being taught here at the university. So before I came, I just started learning the C programming language. I think that's the language I'm best in so far. So with C, we're able to work. Most of the research projects carried out in the university are done in C, especially the data mining projects carried out by the lecturers. So that's why I naturally chose C. But in addition to that, I also did some C++ briefly and moved to Java so as to be able to contribute to startup projects around because a lot of them are coded in Java. But I eventually hope on getting into functional programming. Maoli was convincing me to get something like Erlang. I was thinking of Clojure since it runs on the Java virtual machine. I'm still to choose what programming language, what functional programming language I'll learn. Yeah.
oh. Okay, so I'm not. So from what I just said, you do C plus plus, you do C
Yeah.
and Java. So
Yeah.
between C and Java, which one is your favorite, or which one do you use most?
I use Java most. I use Java most, but I'm better at C than Java.
You're better at C than Java.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. C programmers are scarce.
Yeah, there are.
Okay. Well, I
So
hope you move to the functional side very soon.
no, I'll move. It's more alien. There are fewer functional programmers. I don't think there are many of them in Boya. Yeah? There are very few. So I would like to join that clique. The
I
clique of
mean, Java is
functional.
going functional, Java 8 and Java 9 and 10 or whatever. They're trying to introduce more functional constructs into the
Yeah.
language.
Yeah, with Java 8, they introduce Lambda expressions, many other things, so
That's
as to
true.
assist functional programming. But Java is inherently too verbose. That's just my problem. You have to write a lot of code to be able to do something sensible, of which with C, you just write fewer lines of code and you do the job. That's why I'm thinking of functional programming.
Yeah. I saw an interesting quote. I was reading. Google has this library called Auto Value for Java.
Uh-huh.
So
I've never read it.
they wrote something on their GitHub, the README. They wrote Java is full of code that is mechanical, repetitive, typically untested, and sometimes the source of subtle bugs. Sounds like a job for robots. That's what Google
Yeah,
wrote.
yeah. No, it's
They
true.
said, but
It's
have you taken
very.
a look at? Come again.
Yeah, I was just saying that it's very verbose. That's just my problem with Java.
They are trying to improve that anyway. Now, as you said, you want to try Clojure, which is
Functional.
also an JVM functional
Yeah.
Lisp language.
Yeah.
What of Kotlin? Have you tried any Kotlin? Kotlin is a new. Kotlin is not any. It's not like a functional language, but
No,
just try to.
I've never tried it before. I've never.
Okay, you may want to take a look at that,
All
especially if
right.
you do some Android.
All right. I'll
Yeah,
check it out.
yeah.
I just heard
So
recently that Google plans on moving Android to Swift. Is that true?
okay, so that was being discussed. If you look at the article, it has been a lot of work. The biggest candidates right now, language for Google to move to will be Kotlin, because Kotlin works with Java 100%. They interrupt. So you can use Kotlin code. As at now, you can write your Android apps in pure Kotlin, works with Java. You can call Java in Kotlin, you can call Kotlin in Java. Any of them works. And Kotlin remove all the verbosity in Java. Introduce some functional constructs and target Java 6, which Android is stuck. And Android is stuck at Java 6, some Java 7, and they're introducing Java 8, some parts of Java 8 in the new Android version, which is not out yet. So with Swift, it means Google has to do a lot, have to rewrite, in
Yeah,
fact,
true.
the Android API. Yeah,
True.
because Swift is a different, it doesn't. So Kotlin is, I think, the best candidate, and so that article maybe just a clickbait or something. I know some 6 months ago there was a PR, a pull request on the Kotlin that they wanted to compile down to Android.
All
So
right.
some people in the community are trying to do that. So you can use Kotlin code for Swift code for uh, Android. But Google has not come out to say anything about that. I mean, just somebody coming out to say something like that. I don't think it's anything so serious. There are a lot of inconsistencies in the article anyway.
I
So
think
let's see what
that's just.
Google
I
looking.
think it's a false alarm. It will not make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
It will not.
Okay. So from programming language, let's go to your development environment. So what do you develop in your favorite test editor?
Well, the first thing I developed on Linux. I
Okay.
cannot remember the last time I used Windows. And on Linux, I've used Emacs, I've used VI, but now at the moment, I preferably use gedit. I cannot use NetBeans and I cannot use Eclipse. I don't know why. I've just decided not to learn them. But my favorite text editor is gedit. I use it for everything. Then I compile on the command line. That's
So that's how
maybe strange,
they're
but
very brief. So that's how I write it. That's how I write Java code.
yeah, that's how I write Java. Most guys are surprised, but I prefer gedit when I'm writing Java than using Eclipse or NetBeans.
That's very good. I think when I was writing Java, I never liked things. Seems
Yeah.
too bloated. I don't know, just too much work. Or but it was good in the past anyway when you don't have anything. So, but have you tried the IntelliJ tools?
I've heard of IntelliJ, but I've never used it really. I just figured it's probably the same like NetBeans, but I may take a look because with the verbose nature of Java, those things simplify your work.
Okay.
Simplifies it a lot. So I'll try it out.
So when I started doing Android, it was in the Eclipse era.
All
So
right.
yeah, so that time you were forced to use Eclipse. But Eclipse eats your memory like crazy.
No,
So
true.
eventually, people started using the IntelliJ IDE for Android development. So Google eventually moved to the Android Studio. So currently, if you want to do Android, you definitely have to use Android Studio, or you have to do a lot of work yourself because all the tools that you need are in the Android Studio. You can hardly do anything very productive without the Android Studio. So you might want to take a look at the IntelliJ. They are very good. They have the ID is very good actually. It's not
Is
bloated
it
like
like
the other one.
is IntelliJ Lite? I've never
Yeah,
downloaded
it's,
it. All
yeah,
right,
it's like
then
you
I'll
should
check
take a
it
look
out.
at it. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Okay, but if you're talking about light editor, have you tried maybe other ones? We have Sublime Text, we have Atom editor,
Yeah,
we have
Atom.
Brackets.
Atom. A lot of guys here are into Sublime Text and Atom, but I just prefer the good old gedit.
Just prefer your gedit.
Yeah,
Okay, so what's so special about gedit?
it's simple, it's light, and it's what came with my Linux distribution. So I never saw the need of installing a new editor program. So I just continue using it. It's been working well for me. So, but I will definitely try others out like IntelliJ, Atom, and probably Sublime Text.
So what was the main challenge using Java in gedit? Any challenge like?
Yeah, the challenge was importing classes correctly and efficiently. I had to type everything myself, but with using the IDs, it simplifies it, it auto completes. And most of those features, I never had them when I was coding Java in gedit. It's just because gedit was just faster on my machine. So I just went and prefer to have a faster system and do the hard work, or probably have a slower system and it does some work for you.
So you do a lot of typing, and the gedit I guess doesn't give any uh, code length like any does any hardly does any work for code autocomplete.
No, it does not. It does not. Everything is
Oh,
hardcore, hardcore. That's just
so
the
the
disadvantage.
only syntax I like.
Yeah, it's only syntax and lighting. It just recognizes Java code. That's all.
That's crazy. No linting, nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
My yeah, Java guru by now.
Not really. It's a curve now. It's difficult to be a guru. Takes time.
Yeah, but I can say, but if you are doing that by now, you should have all the I think most of the Java inbuilt.
Functions.
They are inbuilt functions at your fingertips.
Yeah, yeah. I have most of them. I have most of them. But the functions
That's
are so
very
many.
interesting. I think you eventually have to move to an IDE,
Yeah, I
your
will.
own
I will.
IDE.
I will. I
Yeah,
will.
I mean, it makes you more productive
No,
and gives you
true.
some tools. You don't have to think too much.
No, I will have to. I will
Okay,
have to.
so yeah, you have to do that. So moving to the next one, do you have anything to show us? I mean, this is a exchange. I want to see what you've been doing. Share your screen with us, maybe some projects you're working on. Anything interesting, something. Or you do your G-edit magic.
Let me see. I just wanted to show something I was working on GitHub. Let me sign in there.
Okay. Okay, to viewers, you can start posting your questions. So start posting your questions, and Check is ready to answer some of your questions. So you can post your questions.
Right. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. I basically just have some side projects I was working on GitHub. Let me see, public repos. What can I share? Okay, I was working on an IRC bot. It's still in the still in the beginner stages. I think you guys could check it out. Some guys could check it out. I was also working on my undergraduate thesis. I'm using LaTeX. So I don't know if there are any guys who might be interested in learning LaTeX. Let me check private repos.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me just make it public.
Okay, as you go, I think there's some questions. Let me read one of them.
All right.
Okay, so this is from Kwesi Opoku. So you want to know who sponsored the development of OpenMRS and what are the objectives?
OpenMRS is developed by the Regent Strife Institute in the United States. They are aimed at improving healthcare in Africa. OpenMRS, they came up with that idea based on the fact that they realized hospitals around Africa never had a proper electronic medical data system. And it led to a lot of problems with management, hospital management, and a lot of deaths were resulted from that. So they came up, I think it was in 2004, to develop an electronic medical record system that makes things easy for hospitals. So the Regent Strive Institute is basically a research lab in the US. I don't know if it's in Oregon somewhere. They are aimed at improving the software and helping hospitals in Africa adopt it for their EMR systems. That's just a brief summary.
Okay. I think that's good. So that's from Kwesi Opoku.
All right.
So if anybody has any question, you can just ask the questions. So you can check, you can continue, share your screen, demo what's the cool stuff you want to show to us. And if the questions come, he's ready to answer your questions.
Let me see. Let me just share. So one thing I just realized was that a lot of people are not familiar with the push D command. I think it's a very great command in Linux. So for example, where am I? For example, I could be at a particular directory on my system,
Okay.
and probably the directory is very, very far deep down the tree, and I want to go to a particular another direction and do something and immediately come back. I just use like the push D command. So I just give the link, the directory, let's say documents, let's say second, let's say startup. So let's say I want to move to this directory. Then I'll start the desktop directory. So with the push D command, it just takes me straight to that direction. When I'm done with the push D command, I just enter pop D, means pop directory. I think that's just a secret I've been using, which you have a lot of Linux nerds out there.
Oh.
It's a very important command. Yeah.
Just stack.
Push D.
Wow. That's an interesting trick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a little secret anybody could take advantage of. So
that's interesting. So okay. So another question. Okay, so okay, so this one is coming from Sam. So Sam was saying gedit creates pseudo files that ends with the tilde sign. How does that? How do you handle that?
that creates pseudo files that end with
The tilde symbol. You can click on the question sign.
Okay, yeah, the tilde. Okay, yeah, the tilde symbol.
Yeah.
Does gedit? I think it was Emacs that does that. I cannot remember gedit creating those files for me. But what I just do is I just run the remove command for the directory. So for example, well, let me just share my screen there.
Sure.
Let me see. So let's say I'm in this directory. Just create file text. Gedit. Gedit is not installed here. No. There's no need. Basically, what I would just do in that case is just to run the remove. Remove start.text. This is just the command I will run. You just delete. I think I'll just run that command in the directory and delete it myself. Since everything with gedit is manual, you have to delete the files with the tilde symbol yourself. I think that's it. That should be the best solution for him.
Okay. So I think he answered. So if anybody has any question again, I think we can just ask. Check is here. So check. How is the challenge like trying to organize the community, the students to take part in the Google Summer of Code? How is the experience? Or first, share your experience with us working the Google Sum of Code. What is it about? What is it all about first?
All right. The Google Summer of Code, it's a program organized by Google to give university students an opportunity to contribute to open source projects. So, and I think it's a very important program because given the fact that we're in Africa, a lot of students in the university don't have an opportunity to have real life software development experience. If you see most startups around, most of them don't have a lot of skilled people. And it'll be more valuable if you go there to contribute and you're highly skilled. You'll be more of an asset to the company. But with an open source project, you get to meet masters in that field. So I really learned a lot in the Google Summer of Code 2013, especially about software development. I got to use SVN, I got to use SourceForge, I got to use Git and GitHub effectively. And through that, I got to see how master programmers were working on software. That way, when I work on any project, any side project around, I'm in a I'm in a better place position to contribute rather than just coming as a novice. You don't really know much, probably only you did your class assignments. And most of those class assignments you just submitted them through my email, printed on a paper and submitted. So I think anybody who has an opportunity to participate in the Google Summer Course should do it because it will help you personally as a programmer and it will teach you a lot about the software development experience. So, and secondly, my challenges in the community. The thing is, the first thing we realized was a lot of people are not even interested in doing some of these things. At times you wonder whether you are to force them to do it for their benefit. Some people get to think that when you're trying to encourage the growth of the community, probably you are being paid by somebody or you are getting a salary to do it. So what we did here is we actually had to force people. I'm telling you, we had to meet some lecturers and discuss with them. And when they bought the idea, they had to impose it on the students. The black man is very funny. They had to impose some of these things before you see now a lot of students in the university are participating in the Google Summer Quiz. It's after 2 years that a lot of people now woke up and started doing, like this year we had a lot of students who applied without us even telling them. Some of them were looking for us. So I think it takes some time for people to awaken to the importance of some of these things. But if you're in that position, you just have to press and keep pressing. In fact, force them. Telling you, if you have to tell these guys to do these things on their own or not do it, you just have to force some of these things on them for them to be able to do it for their own benefit. I think that's what we did, and that's why we're successful.
Yeah, I think that's you guys are doing a great job in terms
Yeah.
of the Google Sum. So far, how many students are taking part in the Google Sum of Code through your initiative?
We have had like 10 to 12 students participate last year
Wow,
in the Google Summer, but
wow,
that's excluding me, for example.
wow.
Yeah, excluding me, we've had like 11 students participating in the Summer Work. And we hope this year the numbers will increase because the awareness has been growing and a lot of people are motivated to participate. I think it takes a period of time for people to get used to get to that point where everybody is just so happy to participate and it's good enough to participate in it. So I can say we've had
That's
11.
a great job. The highest so
Yeah.
far. So
Yeah.
apart from Cameroon, which country do you think comes next?
We have Egypt. I think Egypt is our greatest adversary. They have been participating in the Google Summer of Code since 2007. So we had to do a lot of work to try to cover up that distance to bring the Universal Boy ahead of them. And I think this year the Egyptians will retaliate. I don't think they have been the kings of Africa will kick them out and they will just sit and fold their arms. I will expect Egypt to retaliate and we hope to keep our position.
That's
So
great. That's great.
yeah.
Keep it up. Okay, so I have a question from Claude. So Claude you want to ask your opinions on startups and if you would like to work for a startup first or work in a well-established company and your reasons. Have a check. I think we lost check over there. So, but you can keep the questions coming as he tries and gets back online. Sorry for that, we lost check. So he's trying to reconnect, but we can keep the questions coming.
Hello.
Nyah Check.
Yeah, sorry, my
Oh,
battery just went down. It just went.
okay. Well, nice,
Yeah.
you're back.
Yeah.
It's good to have you back.
All right.
So,
Yes.
did you get my questions before going off?
No, I didn't. I didn't get it.
Okay, so Claude was asking your opinion on startups and whether you like to work for a startup first or work in a well-established company and your reasons for that.
Um, well-established companies, me getting to a well-established company will just be like a drop in an ocean. And I think I'll be in a better position to contribute to a startup because one thing with startups is startups don't have a lot of coders. Startups are still at the beginner stages, and startup needs guys who are animals, guys who can multitask. Um, I think in a startup environment, I'll be able to work better and more efficiently. I think at that stage, I'll be able to be the best I can be to the company, and anything I do at that point will be very critical to the growth of the company, rather than working for a well-established company. I would prefer a startup. I prefer a startup, especially a startup where the guys are serious. Yeah.
Yeah. So how is the startup? Let me follow up question. How is the startup ecosystem like in Kenya?
Yeah, we have some interesting startups here in Boya. I think the most prominent we have here, we have Free Perfect, we have Joko, Joko.com. Joko.com is basically a search engine. I plan on working with them for some time, like just contribute code to the project when I graduate. And Free Perfect is just an app that helps you transfer files without the internet. So if you have a wireless network, you just want to transfer files between your computers, you can use Film for that. I think those are the. I think we have some other startups which are located on our Silicon Mountain page. I think let me just share that. Let's say Silicon Mountain Wiki. Let's see. So let's see. I think the Silicon Mountain side here we show the list of most of the startups we have around. I think the startups that make the most news here we have Joku. We have Joku, which is a job search engine. We have Wazamundi, which is like Airbnb. Yeah, it's like Airbnb, but it's based only in Boya. We have Zynga
Okay.
Systems, they provide software solutions, and we have our a design startup. I think these are the best designers. We have Color Fluid, so they are the ones who do most of the design work. We have Scademy too, which is aimed at teaching guys to learn how to code. So, for example, if you just come to Boya and you're interested in learning Java, and you want somebody who could link you to anybody who could teach you Java, I think Scademy is the right place. We have Yopisot, watching movies online, Scala Bus, PR, Go Groups, LCM Tours, AgroHop, and the others. But I think on the Silicon Mountain page, most of our startups, we just put them there. And I plan on working on at least one of them before I leave school at least.
Okay. I saw something watching movies online. How is the
Yeah,
internet penetration like? How accessibility? How is it like? The internet fast? Do people have access to fast internet, 4G
yeah,
and things?
yeah. Internet has improved, especially in the last 2 years or so. I think MTN just shipped us 3G and 4G internet. It's not up to 6 months that they shipped us 3 and 4G internet. I don't use 4G. Think I heard it's very expensive. So we use 3G. I think most guys in Boya have internet at home. Probably the non-techies may have issues with internet, but internet not really much of a problem. The only problem is power. Sometimes these
Oh,
guys just get up and cut power. I don't know if it's a plan. So I think that's the main issue we have with power.
okay. But of cable internet, broadband, do you have access to people have internet in your broadband, cable?
No, no, we don't have broadband internet.
So
Uh,
you use the networks
yeah, I just use
internet. So MTN is the biggest.
yeah, MTN. MTN is the best and the biggest. That's what we use.
Wow. Yeah, that was very interesting. So, okay, so any last word? What are your observations and something you want to tell the community?
All right. The thing I just want to say is the fact that any guy who is getting into programming should not be getting it for money, because I've heard when people hear that Bill Gates is a billionaire, everybody just wants to get into tech. And I think everybody should strive for mastery, no matter what you are studying or no matter the programming language you are working on. If you are actually planning on becoming a master in the language, then I think you'll be in the best position to impact Africa. But if we're just getting in, probably you hope that in 6 months you start a startup, then 4 months later you'll be a billionaire. It's a lie. I don't know the dreams you might have had, but things don't just work like that. So I would just advise everyone to strive for mastery, mastery of programming, mastery of anything. That's the only thing that can save us.
Uh, I think that's great. That's a great advice to everybody. But before that, let me ask. I know you've not done a lot of work in terms of client work. Have you done any? Do you try some of those? Sometimes working for some clients or freelance?
No, I've never done. I just do GSOC. I've never done freelance work. I've never. I tried doing it once on how they call that site, Upwork. I think I created an
Okay.
Upwork account and the thing was just complicated. I left it. I've
No,
never done
I mean
freelance work.
internally, like in Bui,
Okay, Boya. It's Boya. Boya.
Boya. Okay, call it
Yeah, the
Boya.
pronunciation is Boya.
Boya. Okay.
So,
Okay, Boya. Okay. So you spell
mm,
it.
yeah, it's the British that spelled it like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done some work for some startups, like assist in one or two things. Yeah, I've done it internally, not externally.
Okay.
I've done some work.
So do people embrace technology? Are people ready to pay for uh, technology? How is it like at your end? Do people really understand it, especially the big companies, the corporates? What do
Nah.
they want it?
The only thing we realized, a lot of business guys don't really know much about tech. When you tell them, they think you probably want to steal their money. Like some guys were advising some businesses around to have websites. Those businesses were thinking these guys just want to create a market for themselves. I think, yeah, a lot of guys don't really understand what tech is. Even MTN. Last year, they started an MTN Innovation Challenge just because they wanted to get into tech, but the guys at MTN don't just get it. They don't know how this thing works. They organized an innovation challenge and they wanted us to use the MTN API, mobile money, and some other APIs that are developed for payment. And at the same time, they don't want to open the API for developers to use. So we're asking them, it's a dilemma. How do we want developers to adopt your API and you don't want to open the API for developers to use? So we just looked at it and we just said MTN is not serious at the moment. Let's hope the techie gets in and cleans up the system.
Yeah, I think the same situation over here. MTN organizes MTN Apps Challenge.
All
Before you
right.
have access to most of those APIs to work with, you have to know somebody at the top. Somebody, I mean, they handle the API like it's a, I don't know how to describe it. It sounds
Uh,
safe or some vault.
the
Talk to
thing I think
somebody before you have access to the API.
I just thought it boils down to the government, and because the governments in this continent are funny. They are putting a lot of regulations on the movement of money because MTN is they are scared that if they open the API, programmers will be becoming billionaires in their houses and money will just be moving up and down. So yeah, I just see it more or less like a control system. So I actually told MTN that they should create a sandbox. If they don't want us to use their API, they should create like a sandbox of it, like a clone
Yeah.
where developers can learn. That way people will learn the API, but they said you have to license, pay some licensing fees, fill some forms, they approve. We just looked at it and just saw that they themselves were not serious. So
Wow.
it's surprising to see it's the same thing in Ghana.
Yeah,
So
I think yeah, most of them boils down to how they get their software. Most they bought their software off the shelf, or they bought a license from it from a third
mhm.
party. So I
uh,
think that put a lot of restrictions on them on what they can do with it, and some of them don't understand it. So most of these deals I think are signed by top executives,
no,
so
it's true.
they don't really get it. So they just went for some deal that tie them. It makes them difficult for them to open the system up.
Mhm.
But do you have tech hubs
Yeah,
in the
active
country?
spaces. I think the only tech hub we have here is active spaces, which is where I am presently. Currently at active
Okay.
spaces, it's in Buea and in Douala. So they are the ones who are really trying to help grow the tech community and trying to help startups come up to speed. It's active spaces. There's no other one.
Okay. So that's the only tech hub you have.
Yeah, that's the only tech hub.
So
That's the
do
only tech.
people mostly go there?
Yeah, that's where most techies meet. Most techies we meet at active spaces. Any hackathon, anything serious, everybody converges. It's just like a meeting point of
Okay.
everybody in Boya.
So how
Yeah,
frequent are
everybody.
hackathons?
Like this week, we had a hackathon today, I think, to build a Silicon Mountain conference website. We'll have it tomorrow. I think on Saturday, since we have started a Docker Hub, Docker meetup where guys learn how to use Docker, we'll have another hackathon on Saturday. I think every week there's a hackathon, or latest every 2 weeks, but there's a hackathon almost every week. Yeah.
Well, you guys are doing a lot in the community. So always a participation, like the average number, the attendance
We have average from 15 and above.
from 15 and above.
15, 10. Lowest should be like 10. Lowest should be 10.
Well, people
They'll have
coming
like,
for those meetings.
Yeah, meetups and hackathons. If it's a weekend, the number can climb up to 20, 30, 50. But if it's during the week, it could reduce to 5 to 8 to 10. But average still like 10 for hackathons.
Wow, that's a good number for people. You guys are doing great
Yeah.
in the tech space, in the community, trying to drive that. I mean, it's not easy.
No, it's
But to
true. It's
get
not.
people to come for events. So are they
No, it's
mostly
not.
students and
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
students?
Most of the guys who come are students. Then we have who work at startups. Since most of them are busy working on their projects, they come once in a while. But for hackathons, most of the guys who come are usually students or guys whose startups are around active spaces. They just come in and we work and they leave.
Oh, okay. So do you have a community, let's say online, where you guys hang out, Google group or Slack channel or
Or
any
we
active online?
yeah, we are active. We hang out on IRC. We are usually
Okay.
on IRC, and we have a Facebook group, which is where everybody is present. Mm, we have Silicon Mountain Boya, which is a very active Facebook group. Let me just share it with guys. Uh, we have Silicon Mountain Boya. We also have the Elite Programmers Club. Let me just sign out of this Facebook. Mm,
Five. Then group was 7.5.
so,
Then
let's see. So the Early Programmers Club, here's another group. We are very active because most guys are on Facebook. So this is where if you want to reach out to guys, you just write them on Facebook, and that way guys can respond. Then we have an IRC channel on Freenode. Let me check.
Okay, so to the viewers, check is still here. If you have some questions for him, I want to post that. Just look at the left hand side. You see Q&A. Click on it and ask a question, and check and answer it. So currently, we are talking about the ecosystem in Cameroon, especially in Boya.
Yeah. Yeah, we have an IRC channel, Hashibi Lab. Uh, yeah, a lot of guys are not online at the moment, but that's where guys usually meet for to discuss coding related stuff. And I think the guys in Kenya too, channel, we have a channel of Hashibi Lab. I think the guys too in Kenya have an IRC channel as Nairobi Look. That's for the Kenyan Nairobi Linux user group.
Okay.
I think there's also hash Ubuntu Africa. You want to meet most of the guys in Africa, but I'm usually active on Hashibi Lab and Nairobi Linux user group. That's where I meet most. I think most of the guys in Kenya, most of the core techies in Kenya has Nairobi Look. I don't know if you guys in Ghana have an IRC channel, but I see you guys are more of Slack.
Okay. So we used to have the IRC channel, but it became a ghost town. So it was like only three of us were talking,
Yeah.
saying things, the same thing every time. So we decided to move to Slack, and I think so far Slack has been we get people to
All
mostly
right.
talk sometimes, even though still it's like mostly 5 people active, and the Slack. Uh, I think most people are not on IRC, so it doesn't look so familiar to them. So the Slack is more user friendly for them. So we just moved to that place, and it's working.
All right.
Not
Oh, that's
not
great.
as we wanted to.
All right. But yeah, anyway, with time, guys will join. Guys will come in with time. Oh, all right.
No, that's good. But we have a Google group too
Mm-hmm.
for the. I think that's the for the. We have one for Ghana developers, and we have for the GDG Ghana, the Google developer
Yeah.
group Ghana.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they hardly talk about programming stuff over there. Maybe some now it's like a job platform. People post jobs over there. So mostly that's how it is now. Do you have a GTG where?
Yeah. We have GDG Boya. We have GDG Boya. I think it's the most active GDG in Cameroon. That's where most techies meet for the GDG event, and we made it strictly technical for the GDG
Okay,
Boya. Yeah. So I don't know how GDG Ghana works, but GDG Boya is very tech oriented. That's how we made it. So it's been great. It's been great with the Google Developer Group and all that. It has really helped grow the tech community in Boya.
okay. So I think that's good. I think we've come to the end of it. Now I've asked you for a final word. You talk about some stuff. It's interesting knowing what Cameroon is doing, you guys, in terms of community building, and it's great. It's great, especially with the Google Summer of Code.
Yeah, yeah, we are. We are doing our
You
best.
guys took charge. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Yes, I've done
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. And then,
Just, just a, just a quick question. Are there any female techies in Ghana? Because I think girls who code are very rare.
oh,
Female techies.
okay. So yeah, we have some. We have some of them.
All
We have
right.
some
We'd
of
like
them.
to
Just
invite.
by the same situation, they are very rare.
Yeah, we really love to invite one of them for the Silicon Mountain Conference. Hopefully,
Oh, okay. So when is that coming up?
I think it's in June. It's in June. Let's say mid to ending June, 18 June, 25th June. We're still contemplating, but it's going to be towards the end of June.
Okay. Okay. So you want a female techie?
Yeah, we need female tech here, like for girls here to see that there are other girls in other communities that are working.
Oh, okay. How is it like? The Google Summer Code. Have you had any lady?
Yeah, we've had 3 girls. No, four. We've had four
Wow.
girls participating in do some of good.
Wow. I think that's an achievement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has made the boys to work harder.
I think we'll get them to talk about, or you have to blog about how you're able to raise the community such a way from zero to something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an achievement. So I think we'll find something to talk about that.
All right, no
So
problem.
yeah,
We'll be glad to.
yeah. Okay. So check. Thank you so much for being part of the hangout. We are very grateful uh, for sharing your experiences with us. Um, I'm happy. I'm happy to learn what you guys have been doing in Cameroon, especially in
Yeah,
Boya, where you are based. Yeah. So
yeah.
apart from Boya, where it's active again?
I think Yaoundé and Douala, they are active. The problem with Cameroon is the two languages. The guys in Douala and Yaoundé, they speak French, so they are a bit different from us in Boya. The systems are completely different. So you cannot use Boya and Beam Yaoundé, or probably use the Yaoundé and Beam Boya. They have their own style. So but I think it's Douala and Yaoundé that are the most active. Yaoundé especially, they are the most active
Oh,
in tech.
so you speak French?
Yeah, me.
Um,
I, yeah, I
yeah,
speak French.
yeah,
I speak French. I speak French.
yeah. Oh, that's nice. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's great having you. It was great having you.
yeah. It
So
was my
we'll hang
pleasure.
out. We'll continue the conversation in our Slack channel, which you are part of.
All right,
So
no
if you are
problem.
watching this, yeah, and you're not part of the Slack channel, you can just DevCongress community on Slack channel. So you can
All
join
right.
that channel and we continue the conversations there. If anybody has any questions for you, I think they can ask over there and we will pick it up. So once again, thank you for joining and we wish you all the best in building the community and we hope you
Yeah,
share your experience with
yeah,
the rest of
the
Africa
pleasure,
and the world.
yeah, the pleasure is mine. Thanks very much.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So thank you, Check. Bye.
Yeah, yeah. Bye.